cultures of the earth where the belief is that our soul has continuity. So we live and we will live again. It's the whole concept of reincarnation.
I was in Europe in the 1600s. I was in my 20s. My name was Sarah. I was living a rather lonely life in the village and just doing craft work, needlework, and wasn't married at the time. And that was my beginnings, basically looking down, seeing what I was wearing, and the description and the picture just unfolded.
I remember a woman who was a little boy in a past life, and it was during wartime in Germany, I think, and she was cowering under a truck, and she could see the puddles of rainwater and the boots of the soldiers, and she was really frightened, and all the emotions came through. She could really feel and re-experience what it felt like to be that little boy and being very afraid. I think it's an important and wonderful experience for a client to experience themselves from a larger perspective than just one lifetime. It allows them to experience different points of view, to feel what it's like to be a different gender or a different walk of life, to experience the kinds of things that were important in different eras. And it really gives them a wider sense of perspective about who they are, and also allows us to understand other people more easily and with less judgment.
The second life that we were in, we were monks, and we lived in the same monastery. And he was more like my teacher. He opened up different areas of religious perspective, beliefs. He introduced me to new things from a very theological place. The only way I can describe it is it was as pure love as I think you could feel. It was really comfortable and really loving and really pure, and our paths were just anchored, and our paths were very deep in our conviction to God and in our conviction to service.
We got into this water, and I couldn't swim, and my child couldn't swim. And basically we drowned. And like I kept reenacting that, the drowning and losing my child. And I would wake up like gasping. So when I went into this state of hypnosis and I relived it, it was very painful and very traumatic, because it was even realer in this state of hypnosis than in the dream state, because I was alert, you know, it was now present day time.
So many people kind of get into that mindset of like, well, who was I in a past life? And for me, that question never really rang true as something that was relevant to who I was or how I was experiencing life today. What rang true to me and what's gotten at in the book and the whole sort of life in between lives things was a clear sense of who you are as a soul, independent of your current incarnation, your current manifestation as a body.
The second one would be Italy. I was in an Italian village. I was married. We had a lot of ups and downs, and so our marriage was very tumultuous. And he was a butcher. I was a homemaker. And it was very rough times during that time. It was, I think, in the 1700s, if I recall. And so lessons again learned. I related that person to possibly being the person that I was first married to, that I was married to for a number of years. And I had left that marriage. And it was a very therapeutic time for me, because it really opened me up to the possibilities of growing instead of stagnating.
The most vivid one experientially was a whale incarnation. The most sort of vivid like snapshots from that experience were surfacing and seeing humans on boats that were whale hunters, whale fishermen, whatever you want to call them, and just sort of looking at them as they were, you know, killing other whales or trying to kill me or trying to kill other whales in a pod, and having this very sort of calm sensation about the whole thing, like almost a little bit confused about why they were so panicked, what was going on, where were those feelings coming from, where was the aggression, where does, very much this doesn't really quite make sense. But at the same time, even knowing that I was, quote unquote, in danger, but not necessarily any sense of fear whatsoever.
Mine was, I was a trapeze artist in the circus, and this man was also there. He was a lion tamer. I fell off the trapeze. He was the first one to come to rescue me. I lost the use of my legs, fell madly in love with him. And ultimately we just had a really great life from that. He just took care of me for the rest of my life.
When we incarnate again, we bring with us some of the previous experiences of past lives. We're often not aware that that is what we're bringing with us. And so there are many times when, as humans, we have recognition. We may meet someone and just know beyond the shadow of a doubt that we have met them before, yet we have no literal explanation for that. We also bring with us the particular areas of learning of our soul that still, we might say, need work, need progression, and somehow will be guided through those automatically outside of our awareness. So I believe we bring some, if not all, of our previous experiences with us outside of our awareness and continue to focus on some of those issues.
When you go through a past life, you always reflect to see if there's any learnings or anything that you could see as far as who is in that past life, who might be somebody in your present life. And I related that to actually my first marriage to my husband that I was first married to.
At this moment, the quantum holographic theory can easily explain the experiences of reincarnation. And in fact, it explains better than classical notion of reincarnation. It explains better why many people feel that they are reincarnations of the same person. Cleopatra, Ptolemy, Jesus, whomever. There are many people believe they're reincarnations of the person. Well, with quantum holographic theory, that's quite possible. It's just information that you can access.
I know that it all makes sense. This is not just a happenstance. I didn't just born and I'm just not going to die. I was born, I chose, I created, I co-created, I came in with a purpose. I picked the people to be my parents for a reason. I took the paths that I'd chosen because of. I came here to continue what I didn't finish. I'm real anchored in that.
Sometimes what I love the most is, and I hear this many times in Life Between Lives regressions, the counsel will say to the client, literally in this manner, lighten up. And I think as humans, as incarnate souls, we often need to lighten up. And when the client wants to hear from their counsel how they are doing as a soul, often the client thinks they're not doing well in their life. And then the counsel will say, you're doing great. Just keep going. You're doing wonderfully.
because Teotihuacan is like a map where it's guiding you humans step by step, letting go all the reasons why they believe they are not God, until they are put the whole integrity together and they find out that they always were God, that they was born perfect and that they are perfect. And from that point of view, you can see that everybody else is perfect. All the humans around the world, they are perfect. They just don't know that they are, because the whole belief system guides them to a different direction.
We'd like to share a piece of this rock with so many of the countries throughout the world. We hope that this will be a symbol of what our feelings are